Welcome back to Rudy's Roundtable. Today I have an amazing friend that I met throughout Toastmasters several years ago. One of the first people that welcomed me into the Austin Toastmasters Club, the one, the only, Keaton Baker. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Rudy Reynoso. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well.
I'm just so happy. This is like literally the one-on-one time I have been hoping for since I met you.
I love it. For context, it must be like every couple of months, Keaton's always been like, hey, like, when are we doing the podcast?
I'm not gonna lie, I do, because I'm like, I want my shot. I want to see what I got, all the good stuff. So I thank you. I was really trying not to be that person, but you didn't let me down, so I appreciate you.
No, we had to make it happen. And I want to kind of start where kind of how we first met through Toastmasters. Mm-hmm. I remember going to Austin Toastmasters, and it was really you and a group of maybe 3 or 4 others, Will Glass, Robert Feller, that really welcomed me to the club. Nami was also there as well.
Yeah.
That from the very get-go made me feel very welcome in the club. Yeah. And I was curious for you, when you first joined Austin Toastmasters, how did that first happen? Were you in Toastmasters before, or how did you even get started in that journey?
So I was in Toastmasters in Detroit, and I really did love it. I didn't really do it for the last couple of years that I was in Detroit, and I really wanted to get back into it. I know that when I made the decision to move to Austin, I was like, I really want to get back into it. It was a lot of fun. I had a great group. The group that I was in while I was in Detroit is called Power Talkers. And it's a really distinctive group. A lot of the people in that group was actually older in age, but they were very wise, very wise, very good, and very open to like the younger people such as me. So that was really good. And like I said, I didn't really do it. Like I went back for a minute and then I just dropped off again. But when I made the decision to move to Austin, I decided I was going to give it another try. I really wanted to see if lightning could strike twice. And as luck will have it, it did. Because Austin Toastmasters was literally my first one that I went to, and I struck gold. And once we got that, I was like, that's it. I don't need to do another one. And the thing is, I want people to understand, Toastmasters is one of those clubs that is very much like, you can find them in a lot of places. Like when I was there, so my Toastmasters club was in a community college. Mm-hmm. And then it was actually one within walking distance at this really luxury condominium over like about, I would say, 3 miles away. So it's very close. So it's not as if like you have to go to like just one or anything. Like you can basically find one like right under your nose.
Okay.
So it's very easy to find. So like I saw the list and I saw a lot of them. But once I saw Austin Toastmasters, and I was like, this is just like home. So once I did that, I was like, okay, we're gonna be here. We're gonna stay here.
I love it.
Good.
So you said it reminded you of home, like the distance and everything, and you very much brought the power talk energy to Toastmasters.
I kind of want to say I did, but I kind of feel like it's always been there. Like, I kind of don't need that. I've always felt like I just brought a presence.
Have you always had that, or like? Because I'm curious.
I think I've only started to experience it within these last years. Like, I really didn't experience it. Like, I will say, I still remember my friend took me to a U2 concert. Like it was literally a month before I was supposed to move and everything like that. And I'm not the biggest U2 fan or anything like that, but it's one of those rare times. YouTube does it, they're really spotty with their tours and their shows. Yeah. And I was just like, I'll just go ahead and do it. I give it a go. And I just jumped into it. I didn't really know the music or whatever like that, but I just really jumped into it. It was really great. By the way, Bono vocals, I mean, what I would give to have those vocals, it was amazing. But it was just like, I just learned to be in the moment and just really enjoy it and really like it. So it's just been that. I will also say, back when I was about 50 pounds lighter, so there was like this really big museum opening at the Detroit Institute of Arts. So when they reopened it, and Thanksgiving weekend of 2007. So they did this like really, really crazy cool event to where they were doing like basically like a nightclub inside the museum. Okay. And the museum was literally open like for about, I want to say 72 hours straight that entire weekend. So I had just left a club that night, and I went to the DIA because we actually lived like where we were living at the time. We weren't that far away. We were like right there. My mom still lived in a condo like that was located behind there. And so I decided I'd go give it a go and everything like that. It was just really nice because it was just a lot of people and the vibes were good. So we got there and like there was a good DJ. The DJ knows what he's doing. That's why I always say when a DJ knows what he is doing, that's how you know the party is good.
They can make or break it.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. So I just got there and everything, and I like the party. I love to dance. I really like to do it. So I just got out there, got with the music, got it with everything like that. Next thing you know, I was in the paper. So,
but I do want to jump into that because I think everyone's story begins at home, right? It begins at where we begin. And for me, it was a small town, Sherman, Texas. For you, Detroit, right? So that's quite a bit of distance from Austin. So I'm curious, what was it like growing up in Detroit? I don't know, give me some context. I actually don't know. Do you have any siblings? What was the context of Keaton so we can understand your story here?
So let me see here. My mom was born in Kentucky. My sister was born in Kentucky. My dad, when he came down there, which of course was when my sister was born. And then, of course, I came along. So I was born in Detroit, October 8th, 1987. Spent much of my time, basically my entire life, up until my 30s in Detroit. And it was really good. But I say, and this is something I've really learned to understand now that I've stepped away, because I was really during the gritty times, during the times when, everybody was writing it off. So I know that firsthand. I know what it is. I feel like I really did feel like I would have to be defensive when it came to that, because I heard everything under the sun. People, you say you're in Detroit and people just, look at you like, are you okay? Like blink twice and all that stuff like that. So I know what all that's like. Thankfully, I didn't have to deal with that when I got here, which is good. And I can honestly say, like, I've had more pride from being there, seeing how it has just grown. I really do believe that was, when I left, that was me saying, like, I saw it going in a different direction. And I feel like we just need to be apart for a while. Like, not forever,
right? But
we need our time to grow apart. We need some time to, do our thing or whatever like that. And when the universe says so, we'll be
come back.
Again.
Yeah, kind of give it its own time. Because for you, like, I know maybe for me, like, being part of Texas is at least for me, like, I don't dress up in like cowboy style all the time. Like, it's pretty rare. I have done it on occasion, but it's pretty rare. But I do feel that for you, in our conversations, it does sound like Detroit and like that home is very core to your identity, or at least the foundation of it, right? I haven't been there.
I've learned to understand it more.
How would you frame it?
I've learned to understand it more now that I've been away. I really couldn't, because I was in it and I was dealing with the harsh criticism while I was still in it. I was hearing everything from the media, from the outside. Of course, everybody wanted to talk about the auto industry and how because it's a working town. It's a factory town, and of course, factories were starting to die out. So that was really the thing. And then, of course, if it wasn't about the jobs that were going away, it was the crime. It was the thing. And the one thing I will say is I feel like there was an underlying secret. And when I say that people wanted to say it, but they didn't want to say it, which was it was a racial thing. And the reason I say that is Detroit is the most African-American populated town in the entire country.
Really?
So yeah, you go there and it's where the majority of African-Americans are. Bigger than New York, bigger than Atlanta, bigger than New Orleans. So I always felt like that was something that people knew but didn't want to touch on. And it kind of just upsetted me, because that was really, while I didn't know it at the time, that was really my first take of understanding how racism worked. And because nobody really wanted to talk about the elephant in the room, it's something I really had to learn on my own.
Now, was this something that, like, amongst like your fellow people, like for me being Latino, like me amongst like fellow Latinos, like we'd have some of those instances, but at least in Sherman wasn't like that prevalent. But like, was it prevalent? Like, did you feel that like pressure, like that weight? Was it pretty apparent, or because I'm trying to compare and contrast it to Austin, where like Austin is like super white, you know, so like you like went from one end of the spectrum to the other, right? Like one of the most, it's one of the most African American based like cities in the nation, to like Austin, which is like very, like
I say Austin is a Skittles bag. I literally say Austin is a Skittles bag, because it's a little bit of you want to taste the rainbow, come to Austin.
Yeah. Okay. So then tell me then at what point you said like once you're like in your 30s-ish, what then brings you to Austin specifically, or were there any other cities in between?
I have always been a kid who I've never used my black card to the fullest. So when I say that, like wearing my clothes a certain way, saying a certain thing, and that's just never been who I was. I still remember. I will tell you. I can actually tell you the first taste of stepping outside the lines. So I grew up listening to our urban radio station, which was it's a big deal. And everybody, if you're even if you're not black, if you're in Detroit, you know that radio station.
Okay. What radio station?
FM 98 WJLB. Actually, it's like FM 99. I don't know when they changed this, but they just always, even though, so on the radio station, it will come out as 97.9, but they always said FM 98 WJLB. And then for some reason, I would listen to the radio because I can still listen to it on the iHeart app on my phone.
Okay.
So, and then for some reason, I was just listening to them. They say, yeah, FM 97.9. I'm like, when do y'all do this? Like, now y'all want to see what you're trying to say.
Okay.
But back to that, like, so I was so heavily into that, and don't get me wrong, it's great. I loved it. Like back when R&B music and rap music and everything like that. Like I always say, In Vogue's "Hold On" that is the first song I can remember actually hearing on the radio, and it still sticks with me. Like I can listen to that song right now, and it's core memory. It's a core memory, and I love it. I still love it to this day. Like it's on my phone. I can put I love it so much. Like I actually got the different versions of it on my phone. There's so many different versions of it. So it's really really good and everything. So not that I never didn't like it, but I still remember even being a kid and looking at like all the heavy metal, because heavy metal was such a big thing in the 90s and such, and watching MTV. I didn't get it, but it also wasn't my thing. But I always knew like I just wanted to taste a difference, and pop music at that time wasn't really a thing. Of course it was there, but as I was, as we were getting to the 90s, those 90s pop stars and everything like that was starting to die out.
Transition phase. So then transitioning to how you got to Austin. So
how did I get to Austin? Well, going back to that, like I've always have been like the kid who always wanted to step out. So going back to the music, when Spice Girls ruled the world, I was on that bandwagon. So that was my first taste of, I want to step out. I want to see the difference in the world and everything. So it just always escalated from there, from where I like to shop, what I like to do, and all those other things like that. So it really was just like, I'm exploring that side of me, which of course came with some backlash, unfortunately. Right. But it doesn't make me any less of a person that I am. I'm very stern in who I am and things of that nature.
Slowly building more and more of that confidence. We're just saying how bit by bit you're like stepping out, you're doing your thing, building more and more confidence. So then how does that then arrive to you in Austin?
So I always wanted to be in another big city. I always wanted to know what city life was like. I always wanted to do New York, but I was afraid that New York would not work. And then there was like, where would I go? Like, would I do Portland? Would I do Orlando? Would I do Miami? Like, where's it? And honestly, I remember being like 13 and 14 and say I would never do Texas. And this is going to sound so corny, but the only reason I would not do Texas is because of time difference. Because when I was 9, I spent the summer in Kentucky, and it was that time was when I knew that they were Central Time, and I freaked out because I was a TV kid. So like I like Nickelodeon, so everything I had to watch 1 hour back.
Oh, Eastern or Pacific,
So I wasn't used to that. So
like the calculus is like 7,
it wasn't
6, then 5.
So I was so used to Eastern times and everything, and so I was like, as corny as it sounds, that was like my reason why I wouldn't do it. But I kind of grew out of that because now I watch 911. Like I watch it religiously, and of course we have all the streaming services. I have all that on my phone. So now with TV not being an issue, I was just like So I knew somebody when I worked in Michigan. So I actually helped open the Whole Foods in Detroit, which was a very big deal in 2013. So he was from Michigan, but he moved to Austin. And then came back to Michigan to help open the store. And so that was, something, I think that was just like my first glimpse into it and everything like that. And I just remember from there on out, like Austin just kept ringing back. It just kept coming back. Up. I just kept revisiting it and things of that nature. And then in 2015, I went to Dallas. I went to Dallas, and this was like my first time, and it was my first time in Texas. It was my first time in Dallas. It was my first time. I have never been that Southwest ever. So Texas, this was going to be like my first foray into it.
Right.
And I absolutely love Dallas. It was great, but I wanted Austin. I remember so much. So the day I was supposed to go back to Detroit, so the Dallas gate is like straight to the back, but if I was to turn to the left, there was like a plane and a gate to Austin. And in my mind, I'm just like, if I just knew some diabolical way that I could just like find a way, because a part of me was just like, Keaton, you want to get on that plane. I can remember just, you want to get on that plane and you want to see, I just wanted to see Austin. I just want to see what it was about, because I knew what I was seeing and how fun it was and everything. I was just like, I just want to see it. Like, you know, I'm like that person, like, I don't want to touch it. I just want to see it for a minute, whatever, like that. So that was me.
So you almost felt like there was a yearning, like a calling, even from inside your soul. Because that's, I think, something that we relate a lot on. Is, so for me, it's always been, of course, through magic. Like, that's like really separated me and made me different or weird from, like, you know, a lot of people. And then for you, it sounds like you've also had that journey where, like, kind of, I know you phrase it like as like stepping out, but like really I think it's discovering yourself bit by bit, slowly, you know, and a lot of it has, at least to me, has come from listening to like that inner voice, which it kind of sounds like this voice here, like, go to Austin, right? Maybe go check it out. Is that something along the lines of your journey?
Okay, so it's a yes and a no, because I hear what you're saying, and that's why I was saying at there, but I wasn't necessarily thinking about moving at that time. So fast forward 3 years later, and I was like, I'm going to do it. And I was like, I freaked out. I was like, wait a minute, I'm actually going to do this. Like, I was like, yeah, I wanted to do it. But then I was like, wait, I'm actually doing this. And like, I'm like, do I want to do this? Whatever, like that. And then it was just like a weird, I was like, I was actually going to like transition from a place that I basically know from the back of my hand that I've lived in my entire life, and go somewhere new where I know nobody. I don't know a person. I'm literally the alien. in Austin. So it was crazy for me to do that, but at that time my soul needed that.
How long have you been here now in Austin?
Going on 8 years.
Going on 8 years. Wow.
I know, it's like a sitcom, ain't it?
It's quite a lot. It's 8 seasons. I'm doing 8 seasons.
I know, right?
In that time, so the first part here, like, how long did it take you for it to settle in, like, the reality of, I'm here in Austin, and then to find like your people?
I feel like I'm still finding my people, to be truthfully honest. I haven't gotten there yet. COVID kind of messed a lot of things up, because I moved here 2 days after my 31st birthday, which was the 10th of October 2018. And then things were good, because, you know, we still had like a good year and everything, and I'm still looking forward to things happening. I'm still looking forward to, you know, finding my groove and, you know, trying to find my footing. And then COVID was like, you're gonna have to sit on the sidelines for a while. So I was just like, oh, so yeah. And then I'm still trying, like, as I have been trying to, you really kind of come out of that shell and really learn and everything. It's almost like, you know, trying to remember to ride a bike again. So
yeah.
So I still say I'm trying to look for that, but I can say I'm starting to find it. I kind of feel like I had like a little bit of a awakening yesterday. So I'm literally wondering, like, is this a sign? Like, is this a sign telling me, like, you need to go down this direction? Or am I ready to go down this direction?
What happened? If you don't have to share it.
No. I went to the rally for Jasmine Crockett yesterday, and it was really good. I've been wanting her to come to Austin forever. So, and
who is Jasmine? I actually don't know. Who's Jasmine Crockett?
So Jasmine Crockett is running for U.S. Senate.
Oh, okay.
So, and I've been following her. She's been great. She brings it to the table when she is I can't remember don't kill me, but she's on the committee, but it's really just the committee where you, like, she really oversees everything.
Okay.
And so
is the House Oversight Committee, is it maybe that?
Yes,
maybe that.
There you go. So and of course now she's running for U.S. Senate, and so I've been following her and everything like that, and you know I follow her social media. She's like all over Houston or all over Dallas. I'm like, you need to come down to Austin, girl. You need to get down here. And it just so happens, like, I literally knew that morning. So I woke up yesterday morning, and or like that. And of course, she's making her stops and rallies and everything like that. And I just saw Austin, and I was like, maybe this is too far. And then I was like, oh wait, I'm in that area all the time. So, and I never knew that was there. So
What?
I like went there and everything. Like I was able to like go and vote early and everything like that because she hadn't showed up yet and everything. So I had got there and it was great. It was great. She was great. She talked to everybody. So I just get up there and like, and this is what I kind of say, like, I know that I'm more of a different person. I'm the person that I know that I am. And I wish more people would see that because when I talk with my therapist, I just give her, I give myself 100% and everything like that. And of course, when I'm, getting ready to meet her, I like the two things. These are two things that came to my mind when I said, I was like, don't speak when you talk because you have a tendency to do that, and don't say anything stupid. Whatever you do, do not do anything stupid. So those were like really the two things that were going in my mind. So I'm like, just don't do that, and you'll be fine. So, I get up there and I just brought who I was up there and everything like that. And it was just like a break the ice kind of a moment. So it was just great.
So you got to meet her then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we, and she's like laughing and it was everything like that. So I just felt like so good about that. It was just great because, and for us to like really be able to like just, break the ice with that and everything and getting to talk to her and everything. I really did want to talk to her about, because of course everybody wants to talk about the issues they have with her, but in my mind I'm like, don't, I'm just trying not to do a stupid thing, whatever like that. But I let her know like I got your back. I want you to win this because I know you're gonna fight for us and all this stuff like that. So I was really happy with that. So I did what I wanted to do, and I got to accomplish that goal, and I was happy. I got to we took a picture and we kept it we kept it moving. So
wow. Okay. Yeah. That reminds me kind of like when I met one of my like heroes too. Like that. That's so great that you woke up not even knowing that was going to happen, right? And yet you kind of went for it, and of course, there's always that fear and energy and excitement before you meet someone like that. Don't say anything stupid, don't do anything like that.
The crazy thing was,
and then you make it happen.
I got there, like I was fine. Like I got there, I got there, and I was fine. I was like fine. I was, she wasn't there yet, so maybe that's what it was. But I was fine. I was completely fine. And then she got there, and everything just went out of the door.
Things like this, I mean, we just can't control. I mean, something you actually brought to mind is something actually that I've had to struggle with a lot is the idea of having people not see you for who you are, right? Like, I think for me, one thing I don't know if this might be helpful in your journey, but for me is like almost like letting that go, because there's only so much that I can control as far as how I'm perceived with other people, but the most I can do is show up for myself. So kind of like you're saying, like, okay, this, don't say anything stupid, don't spit when we talk, but even these things, right? Even if it were to happen, it's not the end of the world. Like these things, we have to be able to give ourselves some grace and a little bit of flexibility and forgiveness too, in that search of always being better and being, I think, truer to ourselves, right? Like authentic. So, but you and I both, you're someone that I always look to that does have that like northern star of always being you no matter the context, right?
Yeah.
Even if, obviously, when we really hung out, like some like the events here, but also like in Toastmasters, has that been something as far as like on the confidence thing or like the authenticity that you've always kind of gravitated to, or has it been like, was there a change for you like it was for me, where I went almost from like introverted shy magician to more extroverted? Like that was a big change in my life. Was that something that you, or have you always been kind of more on this? Like,
I think because vibe. I've been given. I hate to say this, but it's kind of true. I think because I've been given permission to be me, because that has not always been the case. I unfortunately have had to deal with detractors a lot, and people who are, people who think that I'm acting out. I'm trying to be a Kardashian. Like I'm just, there's a camera in the room, and I just gotta have my moment or whatever like that. So I think that's been something I've had to deal with, and then of course, just like I can say before. Like about, what's this? This is 2026. I will say about 20 years ago. Oh my God, I'm showing my age. 20 years ago, like when I was like with a different group of people, I kind of had to bury it because I was always like, it's almost like how reality shows are being re-examined right now, and you're looking like, okay, that is a little bit different from what I thought it was. So at that time, it's going to be, I probably would be seen as more of the problem child. But if we were to do a whole like expose documentary right now, I would probably come out as I would probably be more vindicated because you would see how it's being played. Because of course, reality TV, they can chop you up and make you out to look like anything. But now again, because of social media and because of a lot of other things, it's being looked at in a whole different way. So I do feel like, again, if it was to be expose and everything, I'll be more of a vindicated because it's just like, no, that's Keaton. That's who Keaton is, and he should be allowed to be that person. I don't like to embarrass. I'm not out to get anybody, or whatever like that. That's just, it's like, well, if you can act this way, why can't I act this way? So, I'm being really watered down to be somebody else, and which is of course unfair. Yeah. But it's like, what is he doing wrong that you? Because if you did it, you're gonna get you're gonna get the standing ovation and the Oscar and everything. But when he do it, suddenly he should be arrested and put away, locked up in jail. It's like,
well, I think a lot of things can be true at once, right? Because I think very much the permission thing is big, right? As far as like if you grew up and you weren't given permission to be you, or anytime you tried to be you and be vulnerable or anything, and that was like stamped down, that's like people can learn the wrong lessons, and that's terrifying as a kid, right? But then also I think everyone's a hero in their own story, right? So that like everyone's gonna be biased towards themselves, of course. I mean, I'm biased towards myself, but I think we should all have an allowance, right? Like as we're building and growing and like developing, like trying to figure things out, right? Because it's always messy. There's very few things in this life that are like clean cut, like like A, B, C, and D. Like it's almost always some kind of mix up, even as people, as we grow, right, and develop.
You could tell me that 10 years ago, though. You cannot tell me that. 10
you couldn't. Oh, so were you not even listening to that, or like how would you frame it? Why was it different 10 years ago?
I think because of where my situations were at the time, and because I was back with my family, like I was really surrounded by my family. Like I was living with my mother, and then my sister was around, and I wouldn't say we had like the worst, living conditions, but we were definitely going through a challenging time. And I think for me, I was just trying to survive. I was in survival mode at that time. Yeah. So really, it's just about figuring out like, how do I just go from day to day and try to make sure that I do my part to contribute to my household, because we are all kind of going through it right now, and we just need to deal with what we're dealing with. And I really wasn't dealing with myself. I just wasn't dealing with myself. I thought I was fine, but I wasn't fine, and I know that now. I didn't know that 10 years.
Were you like kind of pushing yourself like back, or like not giving yourself the time you needed, or like
that part? Definitely not the time that I needed, but I also wasn't. I just wasn't giving myself grace, and I think because I wasn't the reason I wasn't giving myself grace is because it was because I was with family, and sometimes people, family included, is not going to always, take you face value for what you give them. So I had to really learn just to, keep my head down and, make sure I bring a check in the house, because we got to pay the rent. Yeah. So.
And now, fast forward 10 years later, right? So you hear now, you said even just yesterday you had kind of a cool like breakthrough, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be very nice. And I think Keaton 10 years ago, we'd be very proud of the Keaton today.
I didn't even think of it that way. I do say that. See, my thing, I really do think that my life was going to be different. So when I say that, I grew up around a lot of kids growing up. And I always say 8-year-old me would tell me now to go F off, because I was so attached to those kids. And I had the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. So the kids, I was a part of a church. My grandmother ran our children's church choir when I was a kid, and I had to go. I had no choice. I had to be in there. Me, my sister, and my 3 cousins. We all had to. We all had to go. It was non-negotiable. We had to. Right. We got pushed in there with that. But it was a lot of kids who was a part of the choir too. We all got along like really, really well. We did a lot of things. We went on trips. We went to other churches and everything like that. So that was good. But all the kids who I knew from my church, were different. None of them went to my school. So, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would hang with the church kids. Monday through Friday, I would hang with the school kids. And of course, that's great for a kid like me because I have the best of both worlds. I have a lot of, playmates, a lot of people who I could chat with and everything like that. So I just remember thinking to myself at that time, like, we'll be in each other's lives. Like, we'll know, not that we'll be joined at the hip, but I do feel like in some kind of way we'll still be in each other's lives. And I kept that door open for many years, and the universe taught me the hard way. Mm-hmm. And now I regret it because I was making room for those people, and I wasn't letting new people in. Like, that's something I really do have learned to appreciate now is to let new people in, because those are people that I love people. Period, point blank. But the fact that I was holding space for people who had moved on and half of them probably already thought I was dead anyway. That was a sucker punch.
And it's a challenge too, because like it's hard to know when you're even doing the right choice or wrong choice, right? And then you also never know. You also can't let like just anyone into like your circle and into your life, right? But you have to be willing to at least give people a chance, right? And then so a lot of it has to come down to that judgment, that wisdom. Is this the right person? And then also knowing when to let people go as well. Both new people and old people.
I mean, but my thing is, again, it's more of a harsh reality. Like the whole Mariah, I don't know her kind of thing.
No, give me some context.
So, so there's like a feud between like J-Lo and Mariah Carey, and like there's this whole infamous I don't know her thing that she does with J-Lo.
Oh, wow.
So I can say I know what that feels like. I can understand what that feels like, and it's even more hurtful because at least with Mariah and J-Lo, like there's no. Of course, if there was a picture or some kind of contact, the internet, they would have picked it up on it, and it would have been plastered. But the thing with that case is, I've had it happen to me with people who I thought were once friends, and they have definitely just thrown me over.
Oh,
they're
like disavowed you. They're like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And again, we were more. And again, we're like, there's pictures. Like we've known each other. There's pictures. We've hung out.
Man.
We've been. Yeah. We were friends, and we did things. And then the next thing you know, it was like, like, who are you? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, really?
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I've never been in that position, but like that must be like devastating. So like, I feel you, man. Now in moving like from there to like now, right? And like the new phase that you're moving into now with these lessons, right? Because like because I believe that you have learned maybe some lessons the hard way, right? But also for the better as well.
Yeah.
What is your inspiration, motivation? Like as far as like we kind of covered a little bit of the past when we moved to Austin. Tell me about some things. I know you mentioned just yesterday, like the great sign there with meeting representative.
Yeah.
What are some of like things that really do excite you though? Like, is it music? Is it performance? Like what are some things that really bring a lot of energy into your
Susan
life?
Powder. I love her. I love her. I'm so happy she is back. Oh my God, I want to meet her. Let me tell you, I remember 6-year-old me when I would see her in like her infomercials. I mean, she was all over the place back in that day. And then I saw like I seen her stuff, like because she still have like random YouTube videos and everything like that. First of all, her workouts they just stand the test of time. And even at that time, like I love how she was very equal. Like she was a person, like before, people like now we look at obesity as a problem, but she was doing that way like so early in the 90s, talking like she has such a grudge against the diet industry, the fitness, like all that. She was doing that way before, even now, of course with Ozempic and everything.
Yeah.
And I just remember she was fun. Like she had that boyish haircut, but she was still a woman. And I liked that about her. She was just fun. She was kind of like an inspiration, like for me and everything like that. Like I could do all her hand gestures and all this stuff like that, So, and I just always wondered because where was she and everything? And then of course, like just like a year ago, she came back into the spotlight. And of course now, I got her documentary. I haven't finished the documentary, but that's only because like I was watching it a week ago. And I remember I would be watching it and I would pause it because I was taking notes because she just had like so much good stuff. And I was like, okay, I want to do this because I really do want to I really just want to take a page from her book. And she's the reason why I just want to, I want to help people and I don't know how. And I don't know what that looks like. I do know that I'm that kind of person. Like, I just want to go and sit on your porch and like literally hold a conversation with you. I'm kind of that person. Like, you remember when White Swap and Extreme Makeover were like big on TV?
Yeah.
I remember when I would watch White Swap, and it like in my head, I had the thought, like, of course, like, you don't know me. I have never seen you a day in my life, whatever. You don't know I exist or whatever like that. But I just knock on your door and you just invite me in, and I just like know your family. So I've always just wanted to know, like, how I just want to like learn and talk with people and things like that. And I feel like that's what we need. I feel like we need to understand each other. Especially in these times, which is, and I still believe that we have that. I say that because look at Toastmasters, look at, I can even say the whole snowball fight in New York. By the way, I don't condone the whole NYPD thing. That aside, but the whole snowball fight, it was great. It was good. It was just people going out and enjoying each other. And just, those small things of people coming together. And I do believe that even under the threat of everything, like, we still want to learn about each other. We still want to enjoy each other. We still want to have those great times. The Bad Bunny halftime show. I'm not Puerto Rican, I'm Black, but I still feel like I was there. I still feel like, I love how even his whole show is in Spanish, and he's like, okay, if you don't understand Spanish, don't care, just follow the music and just dance to it. And again, that's what I got when I was watching his halftime show. Like, I wanted to be there and have all sorts of fun and just dance. And so I say that to say, I just really want to learn people. I really want to learn culture. Culture is important. I love culture, like, not just Black culture. Black culture is, of course, very, very important, and I will always fight to the death for that. But, Hawaiian culture, Puerto Rican culture, Latino culture, and just learning about those things. I just think if we just understand, the world, we can definitely understand each other and just have more empathy, have more heart, just learn and things like that. Like, clearly I'm not Hawaiian, but I would love to learn how to hula. I would like to learn, like the whole hula is just the hula and haka, I would say. It's just a whole history. I could just learn that forever, especially when I still remember when I saw like a YouTube video of men doing the hula, and it was just so fascinating because it's not just like, I know some people like, it's just a corny dance you would do on your Hawaiian vacation. I'm like, no, you really need to learn the history about it and why men do it. Cause of course, a lot of people think it's a female thing, but of course it is. But the fact that men do it, and it's just, they hold so much power to it, just speaks volumes. So it's just about, how do I reach out? How do I connect? How do I want to, make every day better? And especially with, I don't know everything, but I do feel like I've been through a lot of things. And I just would want to know, like, how do we, build that bridge to understand each other and just love each other a little bit more? Because love is great.
Just taking all that in. Taking all that in.
Was that too much for you?
No, it's all good. Yeah, I think we definitely connect on the part of bringing people together, and that the only solution is through people. Like, it, especially something that has really not changed, but just really expanded my consciousness, my heart, is Austin Toastmasters, with like the diversity, both in age and ideas and professions and culture and language. Like, and interviewing Nami and seeing like how her journey, like with all the different immigrants that come over and become professionals, and helping her, Mike Carr, with like the level of like that you can get to in speaking, right? I think a lot about culture. These are all people in Toastmasters that maybe they're a little more casual, but they're there, like they're not here to like, become the best speaker in the world, but by being there, it's almost like a weird church feeling in a weird way, because like everyone comes there and like it truly like does not matter who you are. Yeah. Like, we're here to really give everyone the respect and attention that everyone deserves. And so I don't know exactly what it may look like for you to help other people, but I do think people is the key. That's always been a big thing for me. That's why I do the show and have these conversations, because this, at the very least, even just having this conversation enriches both of us. Yeah. And to whoever gets a chance to listen to this, I believe that there is a story in everyone's life that is worth telling, worth sharing. And I'm curious for you, where does the spirit of helping people come from? Like, was it at all by any chance? For me, I inherited it through my mother and my father. Or for you, was any? I know you mentioned your grandmother like put you all in like the church choir. Like, yeah. Where do you think that spirit to help people comes from?
I feel like it's always been in there. I've just always been a people kind of I feel like that's like I remember being a kid and just wanting to learn about different kids and things of that nature. It's just about being there. Even now, like even when when things have not gone our way politically and things of that nature. I will say this last political cycle really put faith back in my humanity, because I just kind of just thought, okay, that's it. We're not basically life as I know it is no more. And then when Zoran Mamdani became mayor, and then of course that whole blue wave happened, it really gave me some hope and things of that nature, especially. Clearly I was there when I was around when 9/11 happened. So to see, to live firsthand to 9/11 and then see like a Muslim man is actually running New York City. I'm pretty sure there are so many people who think like, who are just think you're out of your mind. But the fact that it's a thing now, and God, I love that dude. I really want to meet that dude. We gotta link up.
Right. I'm trying to do magic for him.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just telling you right now, like if you like just drop my name, just name drop it, like, hey, I know somebody also who want to meet you. So yeah, but he's just really cool and things of that nature. And and that's why I just like wholehearted people like him, Barack Obama, just those kind of people who are just like everyday people and they care and they want better. And like I still remember I was just telling this to somebody yesterday at the rally, because clearly he's mayor, so of course he's gonna have a camera in his face, but he's just out there like shoveling snow and everything like that. And I will bet you, I really will bet you anything, like if he would do that without a camera. Like if he could say I don't want cameras or anything like that, like he would, it would not be a big thing. He would still be out there with a shovel shoveling 2 feet of snow. So I just like that about him. I like that he's my generation, because he's 34, I'm 30. Yeah, we're like 4 years apart. So it's just really good. Like I just like people like that, and I want to be somebody like that. I still want to be a person who wants to hear you out and try to see how can we help each other in some form of fashion. I probably can't do what he can, but I sort of feel like we can leave this table and you feel better about yourself, which is what I get when I leave my therapist's office. Like I'm telling you, like when I would tell anybody to go into therapy, but I know therapy helps because I put it to you this way. When I leave therapy and it really feels like I just went to the gym for the first time and a good 30 pounds just fell off, that's how things can get better for you. So I want you to have that good feeling. Like we had this conversation and now it literally just felt like a good 30 pounds just left off of you. So I'm pretty sure I'm able to still give that to another person.
Yeah, I'll address those in reverse. Yeah, so yeah, so someone who just started therapy not too long ago. I started maybe like 4 months ago, about 4 months ago. Yeah, and just for the sake of like just giving it a go, it's honestly the weirdest part is just I'm so used to an actual interchange of dialogue. Like whenever I talk too much, I get very, very self-aware, because for me, my ego flares up, and I know how easy it is for me to like try and draw the attention in the room, and then so it's different. One challenge I think may both have faced, for me, it's like, it's one thing to want all the attention in the room but not be able to get it, but it's another when you can do it and you have that power but you choose not to, right? And so, and just like the self-awareness there, that I always get activated whenever, because in a therapy session, I'm like talking 99% of the time. And then like, it's like the 1% of questions that are asked to kind of, guide it out. But it does feel that oftentimes I leave out there, or at the very least, I'll leave knowing what questions I need to dive into more, right? Like, because even if it doesn't feel like we're doing like one step at a time, we're actually making progress is being made, even if sometimes you have to take 2 steps back to then take a further step ahead. What we said about politicians and Zoran Mamdani, I think is really, really fascinating, because just as someone who I see myself like running in some capacity in the future, but as like someone who has done some of that in the past, because it's still like smaller scale, but like being like student body president at university and like all this stuff before, it is a good question, I think, of character, of would this person do this if there weren't any cameras around? I think that's always a great question to ask about whatever candidate, right? Because it's just very easy, I think, for anyone that is running for political office. There will always be a bit of an ego right there too, and it's just very hard, I think, to find people that truly want to really make a big impact. Or it sucks to also see people that may start off with that intention, but then the system is so corrupt on so many levels that just no one ends out, alive or ends up pure. So I know it is a challenge, but I think more than anything, it is inspiring to know that no matter what cycle, like there's only one, like it will always, like it's just always a fluctuation thing. There's always a new tomorrow, and I'm at the very least, like, hopeful, have you ever been to Chicago, like the city of Chicago, before?
I have, but it's been years. You want to hear something funny though? Like,
sure,
when I lived in Detroit, I literally did not give a flip about Chicago, and then I moved out here, and I'm like, I am dying to go.
Like, I need to go. Yeah,
I got to go.
The reason I'm bringing it up is last year. Well, I guess at this point, 2 years ago, was the first time I ever got flown out to do a magic show. Like, oh, they flew me out. I got flown out.
Treatment, huh?
Right. So, a dream come true. Got flown out to do a magic show, and it was in Chicago. And what really stunned me was that Chicago has a ton of just American flags, like in their downtown. And it was rare because I'm like, yeah, like, for better or for worse, like I know it's weird that it's even a controversial point, but like just being proud of being an American, like without disavowing all the baggage, because like there's all like the good and the bad, but hey, like I'm born in America, so I'm an American. Like, unless I like renounce my citizenship, but I love this country. I love the opportunity that it presents, and I think we should be proud of it, even though like every country has horrific, histories, but also incredible, amazing things. I get to experience both, being Mexican and American, like all the incredibly difficult things that Mexico has gone through and still is going through, but also the hope of the people there. Like, and so whenever you talk about this hope, right? Like I think Obama really tapped into and like really solidified and personified. I was actually there for his first inauguration, 2008. Crazy. And the first time I saw like the U.S. like really like unified. Like one of the last times I remember seeing all of us like really, really together.
Felt like a movie, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it was wild. I was in the subway. I remember I was in the subway, and this was with my high school like history class. So maybe 10 of us all got a chance to go. And it was crazy because we were in the subway in the metro station, and people were singing like yes we can. They were singing the Star Spangled Banner, America the Beautiful, like just like all together randomly. I was like, this is crazy. This is awesome, right? So I don't know. I don't know. It would be interesting to feel that again as a nation. I don't know how we'll get there, but at the very least, that feeling that we do need to look out for one another.
But also say, don't wait for the peak of the mountain. Take a break on the mountain and realize that, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm looking at it from unfortunately, the country ain't your friend right now, but there are people and there are friends in low places, like Garth Brooks said. So I would just say, don't wait for the sun to shine again at the peak of the mountain. Just sometimes take a break and just understand that even, in the middle of Everest, there is some good there. There is a view there and things like that. That's why I keep coming back to Toastmasters.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep, this is what I love. Not only do we keep the room full, we keep the room full with, it amazes me, 8 years. It amazes me 8 years at how we keep that room mixed. Male, female, LGBTQ, all sorts of backgrounds. It just never fails. It just stays mixed. I mean, clearly I'm challenging our own group. Like, I don't know what's in our sauce, but clearly the sauce is good because they keep coming back. So that's what I hold on to, and I still hold on to the fact that of course, we're going to have our differences. We're going to have our thoughts, and I can't change that. But I do think that people still just want to communicate and connect. You know how I'm big on those two words.
You got to.
And that's really what I just want to do more of. Even if we never get to that happy place at the top of the mountain again, I'm learning that, sometimes you don't need it. You don't need, the best of everything to have everything. Sometimes you can just take what you have and just roll along with it. And so that's what I have learned to do, and why I keep coming back. Like I said, after 2024 election, I thought, okay, we're done and we're over and this is the end and everything like that. And then the No Kings protest and then the 2025 elections really just it lit my fire once again. So it really makes me understand that things are possible, and we can still have that. And of course, it's going to be better once everything is balanced again. But this isn't our first rodeo. We've been through this before, and we survived. I think the reason why when we were like between the years of 2008 and 2016, it was just like we found the treasure, everybody getting a piece of it, and we are just going to like lay back and sit in the sun. So I think that's what it felt like for a lot of us. And then that all just died out. But that didn't really, it changed, but it only changed from the top. It didn't change from the bottom. So sometimes you got to start from the bottom and then just work your way to get to that top part. And again, you're not guaranteed that top. You really not.
I think there's two ideas that I think I've really experienced in my life is as someone who's addicted to like extremes, like a lot like the extreme experience or like really like pushing myself.
I've seen
mentally,
you race
physically.
in a suit. You are
right,
extreme.
Like race in a extreme. Like I mean, like 12 hours on range. Like I'm a very extreme person, and it has been a learning curve for me to understand that even if an experience like from 0 to 10 is not a 10. And if something's just a 5, like that's okay. It's okay for something to be a 5. It's okay for something to be a 2 or 3. Like just enjoy it for what it is, right? No need to change or to amplify it. And then I think another thing too is like really reading history and like deep diving into like different societies and like U.S. society like, in history. Like this is, like you said, not the first rodeo. It's never over for either side. And I also never think there's ever a point of true balance. Like I always think of I'll have to show it to you later, but like I think probably like the best example of like the universe is yin yang, but the yin yang is always in motion. And so I need to show you the actual image. So it's just this constant force. It can be red or blue. It can be up or down. That's just always in motion and cycle. And that we actually need each other. Like it's actually like this ever evolving thing. But we make the mistake of thinking that we're fighting against one another. When actually it's more of a dance together that has to happen. And so it's more so like. The question isn't, are we going to stop dancing? Because the dance is going to keep going. It's can you dance gracefully with what's happening, right? Whether the life's challenges, or like both the ups and the downs. And that's been a big thing in my life to think about. We still got quite a little bit of time here, but I want to think about like, we talked a little bit kind of what keeps you inspired, like, like kind of things that helping people in service and everything. I want to leave a little space here to also like, is there anything else you want to cover or ask before we move on?
I do. I just want to talk about like my upbringing because I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it all the time, and this is really something that has I feel so challenged about, and only because of course they know about it. I grew up on 8 Mile. So, and I take a lot of pride in that. I take so much pride in growing up on 8 Mile. Yes, I grew up on 8 Mile. There's an actual 8 Mile, but of course, everybody knows 8 Mile because of Eminem.
Eminem, yeah.
I've never discredited his story. I never discredit. He is entitled to his story and everything like that. But I have to challenge it because I feel like he is still a person of privilege. And I've said this before in our Toastmasters group. I do wonder if we swapped the person and I was the one giving the 8 Mile story, like, would it sell? And I fight with that because there was a movie about Detroit, I'd say in 2017, and it didn't do so well. And there was the people who had hoped for it and thought it was going to win Oscars, and it kind of just like died out. Yeah.
So just because I'm a huge like Eminem's like my two favorite artists, Eminem and Green Day, right? So you're talking like a huge Eminem stan here. But no, I'm curious just to dive deeper into here to explore it because I think one thing that really helped him stand out as akin to like his other friends, because I mean D12, right? Like the whole like D12 group that he has. I think a good portion is of course his whiteness, right? Especially at that time being so proficient in rap, so excellent, whatever you want to call it. I think actually worked in his favor, right? But it is tough to know exactly, if you swapped people, would it end up different? I don't know in person, but as far as like the lore of his story and everything that he had to go through to make it happen, it seems like I always have a hard time comparing suffering. That's a very difficult thing for me. But like what parts of it, just as someone who was from 8 Mile, like what was that, even him aside, like what was that experience for you? What was the experience for you?
So the thing about 8 Mile is a divide. 8 Mile is a divide. So it goes for miles. 8 Mile goes for miles.
And is 8 Mile street? Like what are we talking about here?
So it is okay. So I'm gonna say is
it like a county line? Like what is it in itself?
Okay, so it's city limits.
Okay.
So so let me think here. So because I'm trying to think from my seat here. So everything on. Okay, so say if you're going like how I'm sitting in. So if you're going down, everything on the right of me is Detroit,
Okay.
and it's all Detroit, all Detroit. It goes that way for a good while. The next city after you leave there will be, I believe, Southfield. Will be the next city you go to, but that's going to be a ways. It's all like it's Detroit for a good ways, and then if you go farther down, on the opposite side is going to be Harper Woods.
Okay.
On the opposite side, a multitude of cities. So it is Southfield, Huntington Woods, Ferndale, Royal Oak, East Point. Let me see. No, Roseville's farther back. So it's like many of those cities.
I see. Okay. I see what you mean. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's always, so there's, again, it is that underlying talk because, that is all considered suburbia. Detroit is considered inner city. And Warren. He grew up in Warren. I lived in Warren, actually, myself. So, and he lived in, I want to say I know the trailer area that he lived in. I could be wrong because my elementary school was not too far from that area. But again, I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. But I also say, and it's not like rich. So it's not like you look over there and it's like, $1 million mansions, and then you look over there and it's like rundown houses. But again, it's that divide because that is all suburbia, and of course Detroit is inner city, and it's just it's like the underline that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So it is not like nasty. It's not like horrible. It's not like we've had to deal with, fights or anything like that. But because of what I've had to deal with from the public and how people have tried to portray it. And then again, you look at Eminem, and of course, Eminem's not, he's going to give you a Detroit side, but he can also give you 8 Mile from his side, which is the suburbia side. So it's just to say, a person like me, I could get, like I said, I lived in Warren, which is part of the divide, but I've only been there for a few years. Like the majority of my time on 8 Mile has been on the Detroit side, and I know a lot of areas in Detroit. Like I can give you like basically about, I would say, 90% Detroit compared to what he probably would give.
Just for clarification too, is Warren like a neighborhood is what we're talking about? Is that a different city? Like what?
It's a city. It's a town.
Okay, it's town. Okay, okay, gotcha. Just surrounding Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I was not clear on that. Okay, so then, but I mean, would you say you're proud of Detroit, like being your city?
Oh, yeah,
or
definitely.
how would you? What's your relationship to the city now?
I mean, it's grown. It's like I will always fight for it because it's taught me in so many ways. I mean, that winter storm, that was a ski resort. I'm sorry. Like I've been in cold weather, snow up to your thighs and everything like that. So, don't kill me, Texas. But yeah, I know cold. I know cold. I know freezing cold. The only thing I don't know is hurricanes. But all the weather stuff, I've captured and bursted. So, so that's nothing for me. But honestly, and what people fail to realize is Detroit has given a lot to the country, not just cars and not just music. I know those are the two things, but it's given a lot to the country that people do not understand.
Like what?
The stop sign, the 3-tier traffic light, the first freeway was born in Detroit.
Really?
Was
in the 3-stop traffic, the 3-stop sign? Wait, what was it?
The red, yellow, green.
Oh, the stoplight itself.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
The yellow lines in the roads that was from Detroit.
Whoa. Okay.
Woodward. I should know this because I've heard it, but Woodward is I can't give it to you off the top of my head, but Woodward is a big deal. So look up.
You're talking about Woolworth, like wasn't
Woodward
it
Street.
Like I thought you mean like an department store.
Woodward is the street. It is, and again, I should know this, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
There's something important there.
But definitely look up Woodward. Woodward is a very, very big deal.
Okay.
And then let me see. Of course, there's Auto Show. And you can see Canada. So how many people?
You can see Canada from there. Okay.
You can and I do, like, I know it's not Sarah Palin. You can see Russia. No, you can literally go downtown and see Canada, and I do mean actual Canada. All you have to do, like, you have to go because it's a riverfront, and like you can just literally look over the Detroit River, and there's Canada.
Amazing. Well, next time I go, because I've actually never gone. So when I do go to Detroit, I will be sure to go to downtown to see Canada, to check out the stoplights. I'm going to drive all over 8 Mile, blasting them.
And also to do the food. I really have learned Detroit food hits different.
Yeah.
And it's also because, the Coney dog is like the big deal there. The Detroit style pizza
as well.
Yeah, which I will fight people over because I can tell you the real Detroit pizza restaurant to go to, and then people want to go to that one. I'm like, that's a phony. Don't do that.
Well, don't drop it here. You can tell me off.
I know.
You can tell me off video.
I got this.
As we're wrapping up, any last minute thoughts, last things to share here before we wrap up?
Yeah, gosh. Putting me on the spot here, ain't you?
Man, we've been here for the past.
No, honestly, I just want to bring it right back to you because I really have just enjoyed like talking to you and things like that. You really do you really do make me look at magicians differently. I love David Blaine. Like I remember watching, I've seen like so many David Blaine specials. I remember when he jumped into boxes and then he did like that ice. I wanted to be there for that ice one. You remember the one where he was like in the ice cube,
frozen in time.
I remember like because I saw it on TV and everything, and of course it was like a big crowd, and I wanted to be there for that. And so like I've always been inspired. Of course, I've never like met him or been close to him or anything of that nature. So it's kind of this great because here you go, you're like, I'm a magician. I'm like, are you really? So and so it was just like really great just to like see you in action and just wondering where you're gonna go, because I always wonder like, where do you want to go with it? I take it you want to be up there with the best, and why you haven't tried out for like Vegas or whatever.
Yeah, well, no, thank you. So I actually got to meet David Blaine last year. Really dope. I almost got a picture with him, didn't get a chance to do it. But yeah, I think for me, so with this move to New York, as your shirt is saying here, right? Of course, we're moving for the podcast, but like while I'm there, I'm going to go off as much as I can with magic. We do a lot of live streaming magic wise. I also do want to. This is why I want to meet Mamdani, is to like pitch him to give me a license to do all the stunts in New York City. Because like to even do the stunts, you have to get like special permission and insurance to even do that kind of stuff. But that's something I want to do because I think it's important to do some sort of live performance art. Now, I don't know if I would ever push myself to the point of actually like putting my life in danger. But I would want to do something that's unique or something special, a mix between performance and magic. The one I always go back to is like the late, like, I guess mid 1900s, Houdini during like the Great Depression hung himself upside down in a straitjacket from like a crane in Times Square. And so the thing was, if this like 5'5" Jewish immigrant who became a citizen, like could escape from these like chains, it was a symbol for the people that they could escape from whatever they were, attached by. And so like for me, I love the symbolism of magic and like what it could, like the deeper message to inspire people. So that's like where I'm trying to shoot. And yeah, like I'm, that's the goal. The goal is to go big, to make it happen. Can
I hold your Emmy when you win it?
Maybe. You can hold the Grammy or
okay.
Emmy. Yeah, I guess Emmy, it would be an Emmy. Yeah,
you can EGOT. It's possible.
EGOT.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, you get the Grammy. I might stuff that in my bag. When,
I'll take this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did y'all see a Grammy anywhere? I just give you that look like, what did it look like? Like, was it gold? Was it a black bottom? Yeah, never seen it in my life. I don't know. I didn't know that. I never seen that in my life.
Well, we will definitely wrap on the disappearing Grammy. Keaton, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for this amazing conversation, and I look forward to hanging out with you again, my friend.
I cannot wait, man. You're gonna do great in New York. I can't wait to see you, and it's gonna be the same without you. So hopefully you will remember to visit us, see us, all that good stuff. Cause yeah, you're definitely one of those bright lights. So
appreciate you.
Yeah, when the light go out, I'm gonna shed a tear.
Yo, give me a Keaton high five. I know.
Come on, man. Let's go.